Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Olivia Korman alongside Andrew Kalb and Zack Gershman. There was a lot of big-time matchups across the college football landscape that surely will have an impact on college football playoffs outlook. Let's start with the SEC, where we saw Florida take down Georgia 44-28. Zack, how do you see the rest of the Gators season playing out?
Florida did have a really good game. They're definitely bouncing back after their field goal loss to Texas A&M earlier on in the season. Kyle Trask has been playing his heart out this year, no doubt about it. He's having a really good season so far. Definitely avenging the loss to Jimbo Fisher's Aggies down to Texas A&M. This team has a shot to play in the SEC championship. Their fate kind of relies on Texas A&M because they're a seed above. They're they're ranked number 5 in the AP Top 25. Florida ranked number 6. They just got a huge break though. Aggies can't practice anymore because they had a couple COVID cases in their practice facility. So they're going to be gone for a couple days. Who knows? They might even miss a game. So Florida definitely has a shot to playing Alabama in the SEC championship. And who knows? Maybe winner of that plays in the college football playoffs.
Like you mentioned, Florida, they're in the driver's seat of the SEC East. They're lining up to play Alabama and Atlanta for the SEC championship and for a spot in the playoff. I think the winner of that game is going to go to the playoff no matter what. But if Florida loses, it's going to be very hard for them to bounce back. They already have one loss under their belt. A 2-loss team in the playoff this season doesn't seem very likely to me with all the talent around the country. I don't see it happening.
Florida finally got that big win they were looking for against the Bulldogs. Perhaps this is the game that propels them to the SEC championship game. But let's turn to Notre Dame, who are now ranked number 2 in the AP poll following their 47-40 win over former number 1 ranked Clemson. Where is Notre Dame positioned in the playoff race following this victory? Andrew, your thoughts first?
Yeah, in my opinion, this was the biggest win for Notre Dame under Brian Kelly in years. This was a best-case scenario for the ACC as a conference as a whole, having the position to get 2 teams in the playoffs this year. Both these teams are going to play in the ACC championship later on in the season. Clemson will have Trevor Lawrence back, and they're missing a few defensive starters in their lineup. So if they can get back to their full potential and beat Notre Dame, and both of these teams only have 1 loss to each other, I think without a doubt they both get in the playoff.
They might even see each other in the ACC championship. This was without a doubt the best win in Notre Dame's career in recent history, no doubt about it. Going to a conference, we know that they're an independent team, but with COVID, they decided to join the ACC this year. This was the best outcome for college football in general. People always criticize Notre Dame for being an independent team because they only have to play teams like Navy and a couple of the smaller schools that aren't really competition. This just showed that they could really play with the big teams in the regular season. When it comes to Clemson, though, I don't know if they really are going to make it to the college football playoffs. This is the second week in a row that they've had trouble in their games. Obviously, we don't have Trevor Lawrence, and I do think we'll talk about it a little bit next with the Heisman. I do think he's going to come back with vengeance, no doubt about it. But this Clemson team is not as strong as people think they really are. Having a 1 touchdown game to Boston College and then losing here, no doubt about it, this was the college football game of the year, in my opinion. Overtime game, fans stormed the field. This is what college football is all about, but I'm really curious to know if Clemson will make a run in the college football playoffs because right now their team doesn't look like it.
If Clemson is able to get back on track with Trevor Lawrence now with the team, perhaps the ACC gets 2 teams in the playoffs this year. We're about halfway through the college football season, which means the Heisman race is getting more narrow as we speak. Who do you guys think is going to get the hardware this year?
Andrew, we stood right here a couple weeks ago talking about who we think will get this award, and I think Trevor Lawrence still takes the award. We could talk about how he's missed a couple of games due to COVID. He sat out the last 2 games, which is why Clemson has struggled against Notre Dame and against Boston College. But he's going to come back with vengeance, and Trevor Lawrence plays like video game numbers. I swear, that's like Mike Vick in Madden 2004. He's a killer on the field, no doubt about it. He's going to win. He's going to win this award. I have no doubt.
Yeah, like we said, we stood here a few weeks ago talking about the Heisman. I thought Spencer Rattler was going to win it. That doesn't look like it's going to be the case anymore. But I think the favorite right now has got to be Justin Fields. He's got a big road win under his belt here versus Penn State while they were ranked. And, he's been putting up some big numbers, and he's shown no signs of slowing down. You talk about Trevor Lawrence. I think getting COVID and missing a few games really hurts his case for the award. You're going to need all those games and all those stats to win an award like this. But, a dark horse that I could think could win this award, Zack Wilson from BYU. He's been putting up crazy numbers for a team like BYU. He's leading them to 8-0 record already, but, playing at a non-Power 5 conference always hurts your case for an award like this.
Not only are Lawrence and Fields competing for the Heisman, but they also might be competing to be the #1 pick in the NFL draft. But before we go, who is your midseason Coach of the Year?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it's got to be Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina. He came into this season with Coastal. They had little to no expectations at all. Only their 4th year in the FBS. But, you look at this team, he's got these kids riled up for every game. The culture in the locker room is unmatched compared to these other schools around the country. So I think, without a doubt, he's got to be the midseason Coach of the Year.
Coastal Carolina is very unique. They got their teal field. Ooh, I love that university's field. Kind of like Boise State. They got the blue field. Coastal Carolina's got the teal field. But he's not winning. Hugh Freeze is going to win from Liberty. Liberty is number 22. It's the 2nd season in FBS this season for them. And they're currently ranked number 22 for the first time in history. They were ranked 25 last week. Now 22. There are a lot of candidates for this award. I thought of Kalani Sitake from BYU, the head coach over there, leading BYU Cougars to number 8 in the AP Top 25. Ridiculous numbers. We could also talk about Tom Allen from Indiana. Penn State saw that one right from the very beginning, from first week, that this is a different Indiana team, and I credit Tom Allen for all of their success this year. But it has to be Hugh Freeze. The coach has really taken over this year. These independent schools, the BYUs, the Liberties, they really are taking over. And although this is a really interesting season, this is 2020 at its finest, that Liberty is ranked number 22 and BYU is ranked number 8. But I really think that Hugh Freeze is going to take a award this year. And Coastal Carolina and Liberty play the last game of the season. So who knows? Maybe that's who's going to win the award. Maybe the winner of that game, whoever outcoaches one another, maybe that's who the winner is going to be.
That's all the time we have for this week's College Football Update. For Andrew Kalb and Zack Gershman, I'm Olivia Korman. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.